Hi, how are you? How is everything going? Today I saw a kind of post I put on LinkedIn, and when I saw the post, I I thought about just the terms used and everything, okay? And so one of the things that caught me, I think it's something it's important for us to discuss here on the on this channel, online tutoring Facebook page, because it's an important topic, and it's about the fact of the terms used at work or in school or in any other place. The head of the unit, the department, the boss, the manager, the principal, and so on, the head teacher, okay? The class teacher with the students, the teacher online with the other students, or the colleague, or the manager, or the head of any kind of unit in the business. Okay, it's great. We always remember to recognize and remember the good points, how we learned so many things from them, the skills and everything else. Okay. However, we just need to remember something very important. Number one, there's so many right out there, and they're always the negative and positive, right? So sometimes you have misunderstandings. Many times you may have a kind of different approach. You don't understand the other, okay, which happens unfortunately many times. But what's important here is the fact that you have to really think about the positive, which is we everyone remember from time to time. Oh, I remember when it was a great day. We had so much fun at work. I remember I had a kind of good kind of set of approach, or a new kind of approach to this. Maybe when I was a student, the teacher, I learned a new kind of skill, and so on. Here, obviously, what's important in these days and everywhere, like everyone knows, is the fact of the approach, and not only the approach, the fact um, of really understanding the other, okay, and really not taking the person as the manager or the boss or so on. Really, an excellent kind of what we call, so quote unquote, head or manager or boss or teacher is really a person doing their work in the end, and just having a kind of objective expectations and a good time, right? Learning, right? Or guiding, or helping out, okay? Because the terms of boss, or the terms boss or so on, it's not that great, in the sense of hierarchy or whatever. You can't have it at work, right? You can't have it at work. Yes, it depends on the culture, right? So sometimes you have a classroom where it's chaotic and they're not abiding by the rules, really, in the sense of, you can't have a kind of structure if you have no kind of organization or no kind of sense of classroom ethics, right? So you have to have it, okay? You have to have a strict kind of law, and in the end, everything goes by and everyone is comfortable. If students, if in a business place, and so on, okay. However, if for example, sometimes you can't you can't be a fair kind of manager, or a boss, or anything in the sense of when you have a structure, okay, except that goes back to your skills and talent, right? And requirements, right? In the sense of sometimes no, they're really smart and they can, okay, and especially if the school or the business, it's a kind of different format where it's very flexible, it's very nice, it's very friendly, and you will have an excellent kind of experience, okay, then in that sense it's much more it's much easier, and it's much more complicated, and it's much more fun, right? And your production and everything else is so much better. Okay, now it depends on culture. If you are, for example, in a setting where it's very harsh, it's a very harsh setting, and it's a very it's unpredictable. Okay, sometimes you have ups and downs, right? Sometimes the ups and downs are um, sometimes the ups and downs are not there. Okay, but sometimes they come up as a surprise. So it's like, if, for example, you are in a country, right, and you know this country has these problems you have to take into consideration. If you don't, it's impossible, it's known. Okay, so it's the same thing here as any kind of school or classroom. You have to take into consideration what is known, or it's there, but it's great that it's going well, and so you move on, but you can't obviously push, and that's wrong, right? And so in this sense, that's what's important. Okay, so for example, I have a student as a tutor, and the student is doing really well. I say, you know something, I give a really big homework. Obviously not. Okay, the student has other classes to take, the student is doing a great job. I should recognize the student and reinforce the student in any way. Okay, so for example, I would tell the student, you know something, I'm having a great kind of a great kind of time today in everything, and you're doing a great job. What about if if we have a homework or an assignment, or for example, next time you choose the topic or something you like, okay? Or we can do kind of reinforcement. That's great. And so that's what's important. Okay, what's important here is that you have a kind of settlement on everything. Okay, and you know where you are, so you don't have to express or have a kind of, you have to have self-confidence. Okay, don't think too much in right now what's going on. Think in the big concept or picture. Okay, so in that sense, that's what's important, because it helps so much, and you learn, others learn. And if you're on the other part, if you're the colleague or the student or the assistant, then you want a strong manager that secures everything, and at the same time a teacher or a head that is communicative, right? Something, I'm late because it was traffic. It's not like the whole world is gone, right? Oh, okay, great. Okay, and especially if you're in a workplace or in a place where they're very sensible to the culture of the place or anything else, then that's fine. Okay, that's what's important. Okay, and so in that sense, you have to understand that obviously privacy and privacy is very important, and security and trust and all these aspects are really important, to the degree that you have a kind of atmosphere of that is comfortable and really important for the person to look at. Okay, and you don't think about the place, you just do your work and have fun and learn. Okay, and that's the objective here, and that's what's important. Okay, so what's important here is that you have a kind of look and outlook on that. Okay, and so I thought that's a nice topic we didn't talk about before. Right now you're going a new year, and summer is over, and so it's important for us to really think about these things and these points. Okay, thanks.